Chris Godwin, as we move to the wide receivers, he's got the Seahawks, as we mentioned during the Bucky Irving conversation. Only 5.6 fantasy points in his debut last week, Jay, but the usage is there, and it feels like the volume's going to get an uptick in his second game back.
I feel like the two big things are, one, Mike Evans is out, which creates more of an opening. Igbuka's banged up as well. And then two, he just played a ton of snaps. And I think that speaks to the idea, not that they're bringing him back to ease him back along, but more to the idea that they were waiting until he could play this much to actually get him back on the field. So we'll see about his explosion and how good he looks overall, but Chris Godwin, I feel pretty comfortable starting him as a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I'm inside my top 20 this week. I'm keeping it open as well, Jay. I agree with you. 25% target share, 91% route participation. To your point, Connor, the usage was there. Didn't follow with fantasy production, but I think that's coming, right? And more importantly, not a terrible matchup against Seattle, who's allowed the 8th most yards to the slot this season, which obviously Godwin was targeted on six of his 14 slot routes against the Eagles. Expect them to try to attack that position a little bit more. So, yeah, Godwin's a top 20 play for me this week. By the way, you know who has Mike Evans in our league? Yeah, me. I did.
Yeah,
it's me.
And you know who has Chris Godwin?
Yeah, you.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. No, you're going to destroy me.
You know who has JSN and Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah, of course. The Chubby Leatherdathers are a monster.
A loaded squad.
Yeah, Fantasy Life commenter, also very strong. If you don't beat me by 30 points this week, it's a loss.
Now there's a spread.
Wow. There's a
first spread in fantasy football.
I'm just trying to
Ohio
cover the
State
spread.
versus Minnesota.
I'm just trying a moral victory. That's where I'm.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm
You're talking yourself into this.
Oh man, I just want a moral victory. Yeah, I mean, for the love of God. You spent $41 on Malik Washington this morning.
I'll tell you who needs a moral victory right now is T. Higgins. It is not pretty out here. And they got the Lions, who are just crushing everybody right now since their Week 1 loss. 4.4 fantasy points per game in Jake Browning's starts, Matthew. That's where we're at with T. Higgins.
Even bad.
It's been awful.
Brutal.
Can you even
killing my Chase Brown?
I mean, you probably don't have a better option if you drafted T. Higgins as early as you had to, but can you play him?
It honestly comes down to the options. Who else do you have? I'm at wide receiver 30, so I'm keeping him open just because the potential big play, just because we're on a bye week. So it's hard to a guy that's this talented and a guy that got a 27% target share in Week 4. Now, didn't translate to like a ton of production, but Jake Browning was looking for T. Higgins a decent amount. It's worth noting the Lions have allowed the 4th most yards on deep passes. So T. Higgins, who's gotten at least one end zone target in 3 straight games, you're hoping for a score here. Again, wide receiver 30, so he's a shaky wide receiver 3 for me. But depending on your options, I'm reluctantly keeping it open on T. Higgins just because I believe in the talent. And I do think that game has sneaky shootout potential. 49.5 is the over-under. So they're expecting a lot of scoring. Now, it might be all Detroit. It might be 48-0.
Yeah. I wonder what the team totals are in that game.
Yeah, the Lions are 10.5-point favorites there. So market is predictably expecting a blowout, like a 30-20 type of game. I don't think the Bengals are going to get to 20 in this game. The issue, too, would be that the Lions are going to run the ball at will. Like, the Bengals just aren't going to stop this run game. And so the Bengals probably aren't going to have the ball that much. At the same time, though, still T. Higgins in a throw script, and you drafted T. Higgins pretty early, so you probably just have to roll with him.
Devontae Smith kind of in the same mold here, Jay. Just one game this season with 10-plus fantasy points. The Eagles didn't get any receiving yards in the second half of last week.
They didn't get any receiving yards any week outside of the Rams in the second half where they're playing from 3 scores down. I don't think the Eagles are particularly good. Figure it out eventually, but right now, you look at their underlying metrics, they have no right to be 4-0. I get that they are just this clutch team that just pulls out wins, but with Devontae Smith, very difficult matchup going against Patrick Surtain and friends in Denver. The Eagles, by the way, it's not just me. The Eagles are only 3.5-point favorites at home against Bo Nix, against the Denver team that has been very up and down so far. We just need to see that this Eagles team is going to be able to reliably throw the ball. I think for the most part, Devontae Smith at best is a flex guy now, and you probably you hopefully have some better options, but it's pretty amazing that right now we're going into Week 5 and Devontae Smith is 1 spot ahead of Alec Iomana in your rankings.
Yeah, I'm closing it out on Devontae Smith. 34 is the exact ranking there. On the season, his utilization score is 59. That is too low. Again, we've talked about this a lot, but the utilization score, it's a number that's on fantasylife.com, proprietary. Dwayne McFarland invented it. That it is a number from 1 to 100 that sort of is predictive based on all sorts of underlying data in terms of future fantasy success. So the fact that his utilization score is just 59, which is out, there are 41 wide receivers with a better score than Devontae Smith. Yeah, you're playing Denver. seventh fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. He has yet to have a game with more than 60 receiving yards. Eagles don't throw at all. I think you're still starting A.J. Brown, but Devontae Smith, until I see it, I don't know. They want to be run heavy, Philadelphia does, and they're 4-0. It hasn't always looked pretty. They've had to make a massive comeback against the Rams, but still, like Eagles don't need to be in massive game script, and I don't see the Denver offense suddenly putting up a ton of points where Philadelphia would have to suddenly go to a big throw script here, because that's the problem, is their defense is so elite.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.